So I have a question for you. I want to ask you why you're doing this because I want to know what you were thinking at age 56 to make an album.
Maybe I start way back around early 2007. I I was making music like millions of others did, and not really successful. So I played guitar. I've been singing in bands, and it was real fun. But I think due to the fact that it was not so successful and my ambition, I sold all my gear beginning of 2007. Sold all my gear, continued completely without music, where other people think that's almost impossible to do. I did it. And I met my ex-wife at that time, 2 years later, 2009. We got two beautiful kids. I really love them. They're wonderful. They're my everything. And I was a husband for many years and a father. And of course, I'm still a father, but not a husband anymore. So around 2017, we split up. The marriage was we were very unhappy, I think, both. I didn't see that coming, to be honest, but it turned out to be true. And by 2019, we divorced. But to be honest, all my life I thought I really want to be a husband and a father because family to me is so important. I love family. I love the idea of being this father and husband at the same time. And I missed it a lot. And on top of that, of course, I had to pay a lot. I bought an old house for the family. I took it over, and I started to work like a dog. And I didn't realize over some couple of years that it was way too much for me. Like I made everybody happy, or at least, let me say, I tried to make everybody happy the way I thought it should be reliable. But there was one person actually that I didn't make happy. That was myself. So by 2022, I think I realized that I fell into a deep depression. And realizing that, it was horrible, really sad. I think I almost had a burnout, and I wasn't myself anymore. Like I was doing all the things that I, like a child or like a young adult, I didn't think I would like to do. I was in there, actually, in a situation I never wanted to be in. It was horrible. Luckily, I realized it, and I'm dealing with failures. I think I'm dealing very openly. So I contacted psychologists. I think 3 of them, but I got funny answers. They were so full of people who needed assistance that they said, all 3 of them, yeah, come back in 1 year and then we can have a chat. Which is crazy if you realize that you are in a depression, in a serious depression, and you're so honest to yourself that you admit you need help from the outside. You ask to get help, and the moment you need it's immediately, but there's nobody there professionally who can help you. That was a horrible experience, and I think there are many others that experience things like that. It feels horrible to admit you need help and you can't get it. But there was a friend of mine, I think by summer 22, a very good friend, a musician, and I played in bands with him together, a great musician. And I think he realized something, and he took me to a music store one afternoon. He said, come, let's meet there and just walk around. And I tell you some things about drumming and all this stuff, about cymbals. And it was really interesting. but I think he took me there on purpose. He wanted me to touch an instrument, a guitar, and play it, and I did. So I tested a few guitars. I haven't been playing for many, many years, and it did something to me, like it did when I first started playing guitar. It touched me in a way I didn't see it coming. So I bought a guitar, started playing at home, and didn't stop. Started playing the guitar, and I didn't stop. I started to take it everywhere. I played my old songs that I had before 2007. I wrote quite some songs. I wrote new songs. Days passed by, weeks passed by, and I would say about 5 to 6 weeks later, from when I bought the guitar, the depression was gone. It wasn't there. It was not existing anymore. Just because I took this instrument and played it, it was a fulfillment. It was something magical that happened to me, to my mental momentum. It is crazy. So I knew pretty much after these 5 or 6 weeks, I knew I had to give something back to this instrument, to the music. I bought a second guitar. I have a beautiful acoustic guitar, 2 of them. Continued to write songs, and I think then by the end of 22, I had this idea to make a concert because I wanted to continue with what was happening to me. And I called a good friend, Michael and Michael, here from the rock entertainment in this local area. And they organized a concert for me. They said, let's take another local guy like you with us. So you're 2. And I said, okay, great. There was this Timo, great guy, and he said, okay, I know an audio engineer. He can do the sound live. Great guy. His name is Jan. He did an awesome job. I think I'm very challenging to other people when I work on something. So I wanted to have this live sound, the acoustic guitar sounding like a real acoustic guitar, because I can plug it in. I can plug it in, but I wanted to have this natural wooden sound. That's what I love. I really don't like if you plug in an acoustic guitar and play through the amplifier. It's not naturally sounding, I think. So I bought this Neumann KM184, I think. We just put it in front of my guitar. And then Jan did the main sound over the plug-in, over the amplifiers, but he added a little bit of this KM184, and he did an amazing job. Yeah, I was challenging him, and he did it perfectly. Thank you so much. So I did this concert, I think it was summer 23. There were about 90 to 100 people. I guess maybe somebody can let us know in the comment section if you were there. It was very nice, but there was a huge problem for me because I never recorded my songs, so the audience didn't know my songs. I tried my very best, and it was an acoustical setup, so I played, but it was not very loud. It was very emotional, and people drank beer and started talking. So in front of me, I had a group of 5 or 6 who were talking constantly, which was very annoying to me. If you try to play emotional, try it. Take a guitar, try to play and sing emotional, and people talking all the time was horrible. But I managed to come to the end of this concert where I was very proud, but it was so annoying that evening I thought immediately, okay, either you continue making music and you record your songs, or you stop here because it doesn't make any sense the way you do it. You're burning yourself the way you do it.
So this was kind of like a years-long journey. It wasn't just an idea that popped in your head one day and you decided to do this.
Absolutely. So whenever something happened in my life, I evaluated the situation and thought, okay, how can I continue with this? Especially when music came into my life, mid of 22. Whenever I did something with my music, for example, wrote new songs, because I'm a very, very creative person. I have so much energy inside of me. It needs to get out. Uh, and by the end of writing songs, I think, okay, what meaning do I put to these songs? If I just play for me, what meaning is in there? If there's a story of my life or my friends or social things or whatever it is, because I think I'm making a little bit of social critical music. On every step I tried to evaluate, okay, how can you bring this forward? And I think that's my character, is never stop. As soon as I achieve a target, I forget about it and think, what is the next target? That can be very annoying for people who work with me, actually.
That's debatable. So when I'm talking to you about this, you had this idea now to make this album, right? And you took all these life experiences over the years and poured that into your music. So now you have this wonderful idea to make an album, but where are you now? Where are you in this process is what I'm looking for. Because I feel like that's important to share with people, like, where are you now? Because you've just showed them like this beautiful buildup of how this began. Where are you today? Where are we now with your album?
Of course, there's way more behind it. Maybe we come to that later in future episodes when we talk about the single songs. Yeah, clear. It was August 23. I did this concert. I made the decision to record my music. I had two guitars at that time, two beautiful instruments that I was connected with. It was like a union, the guitar and me. How did I continue? I did two things at the same time. So I tried to reactivate the connections that I had to musicians I knew many years ago. See what they would say, see if they would fit, because I wanted to create a band. Doing music alone, I tried it for a few years. It's very energy consuming, and that time it burned me. And anyway, there's something special about bands that I like. For example, if I want to hear "Wish You Were Here," like the song, I don't want to see David Gilmour. I want to see Pink Floyd. There's something magical about bands that I love. So I tried to put a band together, and I didn't succeed. I really talked a lot. I tried to convince, and I think the way I am communicating is very related to music, is very unfiltered. So I think I scared people, because the reaction I got back was very, very distanced. And if I say I communicated very unfiltered, it's like I tell people where I want to go. I have clear targets. Okay, this is where I want to end up, and this is how we're going to make it. And I make mistakes, of course. I have my failures, and I can be wrong, and then I correct it. And I think it scared musicians.
Interesting. So this is more of a solo project, is what you're saying? That this isn't a band. You're just an individual?
So it was mid of 23. I contacted a few people, didn't work out, and I started to buy equipment, but I pretty quickly, because from the quality of music that I wanted to produce was absolute top notch. I want to create top notch music. It should sound really perfectly professional, like the big bands. But I didn't have the money. That was a huge problem. But I still had this old house, which I took over after the divorce. And I thought a few months about it, if it was necessary, and I started to sell my house, and I sold it. Actually, which is a crazy thing to do, because now I admit, in above 50, I sold my house to have a music career. It is a it is a crazy idea. I mean, already at the age of 30, you wouldn't do that. I'm doing at the age of, yeah, how old was I then? I don't know, 54 or 55. I'm 56 now. It's a crazy. I did it, and I took the rest of the money I had to, over the coming months, buy equipment, the equipment that I would like to have, like the equipment I always wished for when I was younger. We see a little bit of it here beside myself. I have a home recording studio. And to answer your question, I'm still alone. There's still not a band set up, not yet. We'll get there. We talk about that later. But yeah, I bought equipment, set it up, started recording last year, and I'm pretty far with the first 10 songs.
That's awesome. So you're speaking of your songs and your music. What kind of style do you think how do you describe the style of the music that you're creating? Is there like a specific genre? Is there a style? Is there something that, if somebody is looking for music, what am I telling them? What style of music would this be if somebody comes up to me and asks me, "Hey, I heard about the Transmotions. What kind of band is that? What type of music is it?"
I call this band the Transmotions because I am transporting emotions. That's what I wanted to express with that. It is very difficult to tell what you are, who you are, music yourself. And maybe the audience would see it differently. And that's perfectly fine. Everybody sees it the way he wants to see it or likes to see it. I would say basically it's situated somewhere between Passengers Let Her Go and Radiohead's Street Spirit. That's the basics. Of course, it's independent music. It's indie music, indie alternative. If you call it rock, pop, or folk, it's somewhere between rock, pop, and folk. But definitely, it's independent. But there's way more behind it.
So there's a unique sound. It's a unique sound.
Yeah, that's a nice question. I would say to add this. I love the soul of the 70s music. So I love the soul of Pink Floyd. I love the soul of soul music itself. I love the soul of Supertramp, Cat Stevens, name it. I love the soul of this music. But not the sound in 26. I don't want to have this sound in 26. So that's the first thing. The second ingredient is I love the rawness and the honesty of grunge music, like Chris Cornell and Eddie Vedder. I really love what they do and how they walk on stage like normal boys. I love it. So that's the second ingredient, but I want to have a very modern sound. I don't want to sound old fashioned. So I put all of these things together, and at the moment I'm creating exactly this, which is then the Transmotions. It's its own sound. I worked many months. I think I worked 6 months on the sound itself to define the exact sound of the Transmotions, which is my voice on top of everything. And additionally, my acoustic guitar, and then the rest is strings, bass guitar, which I can play, yeah, and all of that. A little bit of drums, but the drums will come in more over the coming years. But I'm not at the point where I can record or produce high-end drums. So I reduced that a little bit on that side, and that's what it's going to sound like, yeah.
So we just talked about the style of music. Can you tell me more about your lyrics? Because when I listen to some of the clips that you have posted on YouTube, some of your YouTube shorts, it sounds like these lyrics are really deep. So I'm curious, can you tell me more, like, where do these stories come from?
I think I'll try to touch the surface a little bit here. We'll touch each lyric, each topic when we talk about the songs. Then later on, from summer on, we'll have the first release August this year. Then we go into detail, but generally, I'm talking about real things that happen in life. Basically, failures that happen, friends or family you lose, or very unhappy love, or anything. Death is a big topic. Drug abuse, for sure, is a big topic. There's a song I wrote called White Honey. It's about somebody realizing that he's taking drugs again and again, and he wished for it would stop, but he can't. He just can't, because he grew up with it, and he knows that it's his fault, maybe, but he just can't change it. And I think leaving this end open, that okay, I cannot change it, but I wish for it's something. It's like yearning for something. That's the way I write lyrics. Or a song called "Ease My Pain," where there's one verse where I'm asking an alcoholic on the street, yeah, hey, why are you drinking alcohol? I mean, in some kind of arrogant way. So I'm not a good person. I'm also a bad person. So I ask him in an arrogant way, why the hell you're drinking alcohol? Huh? Just stop it, and your problems are solved. And then his reply is, well, listen, I lost my wife and my home, so I drink all day long to ease my pain. And I think that's touching. That's touching, because you're not this person. You can't judge him, which I'm doing at that moment. But he has his story, and maybe he wished for it would be different, or maybe he's already too far. We don't know. Everybody has a story, and I'm talking about these stories in a real way, not in this pop music way, like, oh.
So you're touching on the more real subjects, the more raw subjects, the things that people don't like to talk about. Some of the things that people maybe hold inside their heads, but they don't know how to express it. And so through your music, maybe you are sharing the realness and the rawness.
For me, this is my personal experience, is what music is doing to me. Music that I love, it is a communication, and it is communicating something that I can't explain by words. It is something that I feel is happening to me, so you get goose flesh and that stuff, and you don't know why. And that's the whole reason also why I'm making music, because I can put all of the things that I experience in life, or that maybe my friends experience in life, or maybe my thoughts about social conventions that I don't like. I put everything into the music and make it very, very vulnerable. That's why I'm sitting here and doing this podcast for the first time, because I put myself out there and say, here I am. I'm a vulnerable person, but I talk to you like this, and you can like it or not. But this is the way I am. I'm happy. I'm unhappy. I'm not black or white. I'm gray. It's something in between, and I miss it a lot in real life. This is what's making me so unhappy, that people don't talk about what is really important. Okay.
You're bringing in that human factor through your music and through the storytelling. That's what I mean. And that's a beautiful thing. I want to circle back again to, what does independent music mean to you? Like, what is that?
Number one, you don't have any support from anybody. That means being independent. You don't have a record company. You don't have a management, booking company. So you're completely alone with everything you do. And that's what I am at the moment. I'm really alone with everything I do. There's no support whatsoever. And it's very important to understand that, because out there, I'm not competing against other musicians, not even competing against like musicians who are signed with record labels. There are four things I would say, four things where I'm competing with. It's the music industry itself, is the big three. It's Universal, Warner, and Sony. That's my competition. And on top of that, meanwhile, AI music. And somehow it's also a little bit mixed. So I have huge, huge, huge competition out there. And I'm very well aware of it. And actually, I love it, because this gives me the opportunity to be this David and play against, how do you say? Goliath. David against Goliath. That's actually my story. And I love it, because it gives me the opportunity to think about many things. Think about marketing, about promotion, think about the music itself. How are other musicians promoting themselves that have a huge record company? How am I going to do it? How am I using guerrilla marketing or real marketing? Who am I? And so on. It is really interesting. And it's really me against the music industry and artificial intelligent music. You know?
Interesting. If somebody wanted to check out your music or see your music, where would they be able to do that? I mean, I know I mentioned a YouTube short because I happened to see that.
Yeah. Basically, I want to be everywhere. There's a simple reason for it. I have a certain branding, so I call it the Transmotions. So that's my name. And around this name, I create an image and the sound and everything. And it's a lot of work I put in there. So basically, I don't want to have anybody else using that name on another platform, being somebody else. So I signed up literally everywhere I could. Maybe it's a lot, maybe it's ridiculous or a lot of work. I think it's necessary to have the name out there. And as soon as you Google the name, the Transmotions, you get me. You get the real Transmotions. I even registered at a website, thetransmotions.com. It's active. You can scroll through there. Yeah, thetransmotions.com. It is the real Transmotions. I'm basically everywhere, but there is one main platform I have, because I really like what they do a lot, and that's YouTube. I think YouTube is giving you, as a content creator or musician, independent musician, all the possibilities that you need. So you can create shorts, songs, music videos, lyric videos, podcasts, comments. Everything is on YouTube, and they're promoting independent artists. I started to upload shorts already, like you mentioned, and I see what YouTube is doing, and that's different to any other social platform. YouTube is pushing independent, real artists, and it's awesome. I love YouTube, and it's my main platform.
That is awesome. And I know we've been talking for a while now, and we've been talking and covering lots of subjects, but I have a question for you. What is your end goal with all of this amazing stuff you're doing, from your music to the lyrics to showing up on every single platform, from the idea to the album?
Yeah, I have a clear goal, and that's what scares people. In 5 years from now, I'm gonna have 1 billion streams, and at least one Songs of the Transmotions on the global radio rotation. And I'm gonna get there.
That's a lofty goal. It's amazing. So my last question for this session, because this is our first one, if you had one sentence that you wanted to share with your audience, what would that one sentence be?
Yeah, maybe I take something from my life, what I think. If you've got something in life that you want to happen, be the spark yourself now.